Joining us now, Congressman Gohmert, a Republican from Texas. We had also planned to have Sheila Jackson Lee, the Democratic Congresswoman, also from Texas, but she canceled. So, Congressman Gohmert, we're glad you're with us. Thank you for your time, sir.
It's great to be with you.
All right. Congresswoman Jackson Lee is among those criticizing this law, and often they say it is those groups that are going to be impacted, disenfranchised, essentially, older people, poor people, and minorities. How do you counter that criticism of this kind of law?
Well, first of all, Shannon, I've been in Iraq, I've been in other countries where when they got the vote, they were so excited they didn't mind risking their lives, standing in line for hours to vote, putting their finger in blue dye so that they could be identified in the face of 8.5 by 11 flyers around the country that said, you vote, you die. And yet, people are saying, well, gee, it's too inconvenient to get a photo ID. You've got to have it. If you want to make an appointment with the Attorney General, you've got to have that photo ID or you're not getting in the Justice Department. I've tried. And as we know, you look at the facts. Georgia created a requirement for a photo ID, and in the 2 elections since, they haven't disenfranchised minorities. There's been an increased number of minorities, in fact, much more than the percentage of white voters that came out. It didn't enfranchise anybody. And for those who say, well, gee, it's too oppressive to make people get a photo ID, it costs money. If you're a pauper, we followed the Indiana law that's been upheld by the Supreme Court. Although you never know what John Roberts is going to do. Maybe they can intimidate him by calling him political names again and get him to go the wrong way. But the fact is, people are not disenfranchised. And let me just say, it is very transparent what's going on. Administration that said they'd be transparent, it's unfortunate. This is the only place they have been. Where you have a president out there won't say as a king or a czar or Caesar, as I speak the law, it exists. I am overriding all congressional law on immigration. I'm making 800,000 to 1 million new illegals legal. And, you know, Pelosi's been out there in previous years saying to illegals, you know, you're going to run things, you know, get out there, you're the true patriots, encouraging them basically to go vote. So it's very transparent. They're creating illegals into potential voters, and then they do not want photo IDs, which will allow dead people to continue to vote, and it'll allow those who shouldn't be voting to vote.
Well,
and I'm telling you what, Shannon.
Let me ask you, because, you know, folks on the other side of this will say those are all scare tactics and there aren't real cases of fraud that you could point to in Texas.
Well, there have been, and you can go back to Duval County and Lyndon Johnson days when he told his supposedly his campaign manager, no, this man in this grave has every bit as much right to vote as all the other people in this cemetery. I mean, those things have been going on, but when you don't have a requirement for a photo ID, it's hard to identify the fraud. So the fact is, we know people are not disenfranchised by requiring the requirement, although the Justice Department is spending more tax dollars to an ACORN-type group, Catalyst, that's they say on their website what their purpose is. It's to support the progressive movement, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be an unbiased witness in court. The fact that they would hire a biased witness like this shows how desperate they are. Any good trial lawyer knows you want expert witnesses who are unbiased, who have this great reputation, and the fact that he would give tax dollars to a biased group like this means there is no objective evidence that he can point to. And I'm telling you what, this Section 5 of the Voting Rights Amendment is a violation of equal protection. It was renewed for 25 years with majority states, many of whom had districts with more racial disparity than any of those that they were ramming this down. And that's a violation of equal protection. And I hope some attorney general from the states will raise that in the next round of litigation, because it is outrageous that this attorney general, who knows nothing about justice, who testified right in front of me that there are political dimensions to justice. Well, there goes, for this administration, justice being blind. What they want is a political justice department. Well, politics and justice are mutually exclusive. If you do not have blind justice, you don't have justice.
We got to leave it there, but this will go to a federal court tomorrow in D.C. And, of course, the Voting Rights Act, Section 5, headed for the Supreme Court as well. So we'll keep an eye on those battles. We thank you for your time today, Congressman.
Thank you, Shannon. Really appreciate you.